relatively young, which I don't know, 31, go figure. From what I hear, there's they're finding young kids with MS. So it's like, how is 31 young, compared to that?
Right.
But and I was wondering, was that your case? Did they tell you that when you were diagnosed at 31?
Yeah, I mean, technically they could have found it out about 10 years earlier when I would have been about 21 or so. Because my real first episode, I had lost feeling from my waist down, and I had no sense of, I couldn't be mobile. And I'm living as a single mom with 2 little kids and living in a homeless shelter, trying to manage 2 young kids. And they ended up just saying, hey, go do physical therapy and you'll be fine. So no one ever actually looked into it.
Yeah.
So now fast forward 10 years later, I had already been having sexual function issues, that whole sex drive desire had gone out the window after the birth of my 4th child. And it always seemed like it was an elephant in the room that had no name. Like, I know something's causing me mood issues. I know something's causing me issues with my memory. I know I'm having trouble. I'm dealing with tiredness all the time. Like, I scroll back through my memory of my Facebook and it's like, I'm tired. And that should have been a clue from way back then. But being diagnosed was such a relief. I wasn't scared about it. I was relieved because I could put a name to why I was feeling the way I was. And that, gave me, made me change my thought process, gave my life purpose. Okay, I've got this thing. What do I do with it? And it made me slow down and I need to spend more time with my kids. I need to make every moment of my life count. And so then it led into, of course, I was like, oh, cool. I've got this diagnosis. No big deal. I'll continue on with my life. And the doctor's like, well, no, hold on a second here. It doesn't work that way. We need to actually get you started on medication, like, now. I was like, what's the big deal? It's no big deal. I've been dealing with this for how long? Like, whatever. Thanks. Let me go. But she instantly started me on medication. So instantly went to, Avonex, Tecfidera, Gilenya, and now I'm on Tysabri, which is an infusion.
Yeah.
And it's, keeps me stable, but I'm just grateful that I'm able to, put a name to why I feel what I feel. And I got tired and started getting tired and feeling guilty about why I was always telling my kids, I'm so tired. Mom can't do this today because she's too tired. I'm sorry, I can't do that tomorrow because I'm going to be too tired from what I'm doing today. Right. So it was actually a blessing to finally have that diagnosis.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that because I was, like I've told you, I was in a bad car wreck and that triggered my MS. Symptoms, and that went on for, and it's like, in the first place, I couldn't really tell whether, I had a hard time differentiating the actual MS symptoms from, symptoms of multiple sclerosis as opposed to symptoms from my traumatic brain injury or, residuals that I may be having that were kicked up by this car accident. And so far as I even saw the MRI and they said MS lesions, and I'm going, MS lesions, those are the bruises from my, from my brain injury. Those are scars from that. And, gotcha. It's like, cause they're in about the same spots. I still have copies of the, CAT scans and MRIs from way back then. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? But I find, it didn't take long and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. The bruises would be sort of gone by now, and any scarring would be minimal, and these are definitely prominent. So yeah, they're lesions.
Yeah.
So yes, okay, I have MS, but I read in your article that you had done your research, and I had done my research on MS. between the first appointment, when the neurologist down here at St. Clair's in Lakewood said I might have MS, he was 95% sure, wanted me to go get checked out. I went to Lily Jung up there at Swedish, and she said, she's an MS specialist, and she's like, yep, you definitely have it. In those 3 months between those two appointments, I had done my research.
Yeah, well, my appointments wasn't even 3 months. I mean, I learned my diagnosis within maybe a month's time. Like, it was boom, 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 boom. And again, mine was, of course, after a car accident, and I started losing vision. Had no peripheral or nothing, I like to, or what I like to call my spidey sense. Like, my people or my kids will still come up behind me and they'll scare me just because I can't sense them coming anymore. And here I am, driving around and I can barely see, because, my vision's so foggy and cloudy. And I'm thinking, oh, what the heck did the car accident do to me that caused this bad, And then it just, like I said, it just went down from there. The spinal tap, the MRIs, the spinal tap, the vision tests over and over and over again. What happened? So, and of course, the time I was working a really nice job, which was really nice. I loved it. I was working at a wedding venue, which I went to school for event planning. That was actually my dream job as a child, was to have my own wedding planning business. And so I went, so here I'm working at this venue thinking, great, I finally founded my dream job to help push me to that bigger dream job. And after the accident, the guy was a real big jerk, and I was like, and he let me go. And I was like, thank goodness. I'm so grateful that I went, because there's no way I could have worked in that year after my diagnosis and trying to figure out this new lifestyle that I'm having now to lead. And thankfully I, tried to find a new job because I'm a single mom of, 4 kids. And I landed this wonderful job at a chiropractor's office called North Star Chiropractic in Northgate. And my boss was really understanding. Like, I didn't even tell him from the get-go that I had MS. He just read my resume and was like, well, I could tell that you probably did, because it says on there that I was a volunteer for the MS Society, So I gave it away. But I've been there now 6 years, and he has been so understanding and so so teachable about what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through. He's, he cares about me as a person. And, not just that I'm working for a doctor and I get, free chiropractic care, right. But, if I'm just having a bad day and I can't think properly, then he gives me the grace to take a break, take time that I need to, get myself put together. My other coworker, she's wonderful, and as well, and knowing that, hey, if Lovey's making these mistakes, just give her grace and just fix them for her, because sometimes the brain fog gets in there. The cognitive of, making sure I don't switch numbers around can get in there. And so it's actually been the best job I've ever had,
Right on. And
while it's not a field I had wanted to go into to begin with, because I still have my dream of wanting to have an event planning business one day. This is my dream right here, right now. And hey, pays the bills, take care of my kids. So that's what's important,
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal. Just, take care of, what you got to do to get by, and take care of the people you love.
Yeah.
Your family.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess, I'm going through my notes here, and I guess, that was your sort of entrance into your life with MS, and how you felt and thought about it. It's like, and I totally understand and relate with that. It's sort of like on one hand, being in denial about it and being like, is this really what's happening? And then, okay, that's what's happening. So this is what we got to do,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had already been through so much in my life since I was a child, and then growing up in a, even though things didn't turn out like I had hoped in my childhood life, I did grow up in a Christian home, and I did learn those Christian values, and I did learn, I grew strength. God gave me strength to make it through each of those situations I had been through. If it wasn't for the fact that I had my faith and that I relied solely on that, because one of the things of the verses in the Bible talks about that God is a father to the fatherless, and I had already been fatherless for so long, and I had nobody else to rely on. So every single time I was going through a challenge, I defaulted back to that every single time. Still. Even now, I'm not saying I'm perfect and that I'm like holier than art thou and all this, but I'm just saying, wanting people to understand that this is why I am strong like I am. Yes, I have dealt with depression so many times. I've gone so deep in my depression that I couldn't even get out of bed to take care of my kids some days. And then my kids were trying to feed themselves because I couldn't get out of bed. I've dealt with anxiety so much so that I've had major panic attacks going out. We're dealing with Corona right now. We've dealt with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that, where, people are just, hating on each other for no reason. And it's like, for me, I don't see black and white because I grew up learning to see gray. I learned to see everyone as the same. And it, again, reverts back to because of the way I was brought up in my faith that helps me be able to see things on a broader spectrum. So when it reverts back to me and my health and my MS, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. Because I knew I was getting into that depression trap, I knew I needed to do something about this diagnosis. The only way for me to see through it was going to be to figure out how I could use it to my advantage. And that's what led me to, volunteering with the MS Society. That led me to being a part of an MS group. I actually had a friend who took me to my first MS walk MS in 2015. That was the first time I took my daughter with me. That was my first experience. Like I literally bought myself a sweatshirt, got all dolled up, in the orange. Like I was excited. And then I met Susan, who was the group leader of the Marysville MS Self-Help Group at the time. And she invited me to the group. And I was scared to go to the group because I'm like, I'm going to be the youngest, because when you think of support groups, you think of all these really old people. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be the youngest at this group. Like, I'm not going to fit in. But the moment I went to the group, not only did they make me feel welcome and I ended up fitting in. I mean, I was the only black person. I was the youngest and the only black woman there. But then found out there's another black guy that's going to the group. There are men and women who are both going to this group. I fell in love with these people, and because we were all talking about things that I was going through, even though they were older than me, I was like, that doesn't even matter anymore, And so from that, I just got so engrossed and so involved in it. I ended up becoming co-leader of the group. And just a couple years ago, I actually became the sole leader of the group. And so it's been a blessing to be able to use what I've learned, the trials I've gone through in my life for this purpose. I've always wanted to be, some type of motivational speaker or whatever. And how can I use all these things that I've learned? And God's just put it in my lap that, hey, you know what? We're going to take your MS combined with everything else that you've gone through in life, and we're just going to use that for whatever I need to use it for. And I'm like, cool, here I am, So, it's actually been a blessing. It's like, people would think, oh my gosh, MS, a blessing. Actually, it is a blessing because now I found a purpose. I feel like I have a purpose. I don't feel like I'm just a single stay-at-home mom with, 5 kids and working a job, 5 days a week. I've actually got a little bit of extracurricular, purpose going on, and I love it.
Yeah, that's just so awesome. About you're finding this group and going in reluctantly and then, just walking in the door. And I know that feeling.